Yo, what's going on, guys? Zachary, Master Shifu, Money Zach, whatever you know me by, here with another video. This is basically going to be the business model and what we offer as a product, right? So, with this service and with this business, there's not necessarily like one product that we sell. The overarching product is that we are making businesses more money, right? And there's a couple different ways that we can do that, right? The only way to make a business more money is to increase revenue and decrease costs, right? So basically, we can either give the business more leads or we could reduce the business's costs. And then we could also get into paid ads, which we'll get into a little bit later, right? But starting with like increasing more leads within the business, there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. So more leads naturally generate month over month. And that's stuff like improving the website. If you go to a landscaping business and you're looking for a new landscaper, you're new to town, you don't really know anything. If you go to someone's website and you can't submit any information, there's a mislead. And if you can have an improved website that literally gets you 1, 2, 3 extra leads a month, that's money that's walking out the door that we can recapture, right? Marketing material. If you run a landscaping business and you aren't posting your services on Facebook Marketplace, why? Like, why aren't you doing that? Sending outbound leads. The businesses can benefit from sending cold outbound leads. If it's 100 a day and one person responds, now that's one potential new lead who you have for your business. And then also like systems to never kind of miss leads. So if a lead comes in, you're acting on it and actually capturing that lead instead of letting them walk out the door. And each of these all kind of have their own subcategories as well, right? Within the website, we're going to implement some AI SEO. So if you look up if you ask ChatGPT, what is the best landscaper in Tallahassee, right, where I live? What is the best landscaper in Tallahassee? Someone's going to come up, and I guarantee you it's not the person who you're on the phone with, right? And I bet that landscaper has no idea that they are the person who comes up number one in AI SEO, right? So, working on that aspect of it, which will also generate a lead here and there. Maybe it does 1 a month, 2 a month of landscapers in Tallahassee, because AI is the new Google. People are using AI more than they are using Google. So that could be another lead generation source, Then, form to lead submissions. If somebody doesn't necessarily want to talk to you over the phone, you can also have payment collection right on the website. We'll come mow your lawn, right? Give us your address, pay us online, we'll come mow your lawn. How many people are going to do that? I don't know. Is it an option that you could have on your website? Sure. And then you schedule the time and do all that stuff. That's another opportunity there. And kind of the marketing material. Setting up your Google business profile so it looks professional. Getting some reviews on there, getting different programs to. Actually, I'm gonna add that as well. Right, getting those Google reviews, having an influx of 5-star Google reviews, setting up a text automation system after every visit, that'll massively increase your business. If you got 3, 4, 5 Google reviews, a week, a month, now you're getting pushed to the top of the charts, right? And making sure your Google profile is set up all good, and then free marketing posts, like anywhere you can post your services for free to generate leads for you. Why are you not doing that? And as well as that, planning paid ad campaigns, which we'll hop into in a little bit, right? And for the sending outbound leads, they can either hire someone or we can set up like an automatic system to do that. And for systems not to miss any leads, that's where the phone assistants come in. Maybe they only want it after hours. We can set it up so it only answers the phone after hours. Hey, thanks for your information. Tell us a quick little brief description about what you're trying to get done. We'll have someone call you back first thing in the morning. Right? And then first thing in the morning, this person, whoever is in charge of calling back, is going to get an email. Hey, this person wants this person wants this. These are leads, call them back to make money, kind of thing. As well as, the forms on the website. And also kind of something like a buy now, fulfill later. People want to pay now, but they don't want the services yet. Sure, fulfill it later. Yeah, and then kind of on the reducing costs side of it, how you can kind of reduce costs in this industry. You don't want to pitch. You do not want to pitch AI replacing humans. Nobody is going to like that. If you go in with that mindset like, oh, we're selling these AI systems that are going to replace all humans, people are not going to want to buy from you. They're going to get very hostile because at the end of the day, these are small business owners, and they probably employ a couple people who they feel like responsible for. And they're responsible for their lives. So you don't want to pitch them like, hey, we are going to replace your workforce. No, we're using AI to enhance your business and make you more money without replacing any jobs, right? Because if you come in and you're like, we're going to replace all the jobs, they're not going to want to work with you. So what we're doing is we're enhancing human output, is how you want to phrase it. Enhancing human output. And this is going to look like reducing like humans' workload. Like automated systems that require manual entry, that can all be automated by AI, and now that frees up the person's time to go out and make more sales calls. Because AI is not never going to be as good as sales calls. So now the human input is reduced, so their time is freed up. As well as like efficiency tracking systems. Like how do you really know exactly how long each one of your landscaping jobs takes? Oh, it kind of takes anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. But do you know what team is doing each job at what time, are they on track, are they on schedule? Building like a whole kind of back end tracking system so you can see which teams are being most effective at what. And this is really for this would be a big contract, right? This would be like a $10,000-$15,000 project just because of the amount of work that would go into it. But pitch them on the idea of it. Like if you could improve your efficiency of your workers by 25%, and now you can take on 25% more leads a month, what would that look like revenue-wise for you? Oh, I don't know. It could probably be an extra $40,000 in revenue a month. Wow, that's incredible. Like if we were to be able to build this system for you for $10,000 a month and $1,000 a month to retain it, and we were able to get you that $40,000 extra a month in revenue, would that be worth it for you? Yeah, it totally would. Because we're 4xing their investment. So that's kind of the idea on the reducing cost side of it. And then paid ads, right? I don't want this to be our main selling point. I can run paid ads, yes. Is it the thing I'm best at? No, right? We could also always outsource this, but people are going to ask for it anyway. I would rather you guys focus on kind of this area up here. If they want paid ads, sure, right? Like we can do it. I can make it happen. But kind of how like paid ads work, right? Or how the advertising works is they're gonna give you kind of we're gonna give them kind of like a monthly budget, right? Like let's say their budget monthly would be $1,000. Essentially, of that $1,000 monthly budget, 700 of that would actually go towards ads. So basically, the majority of the money that they're paying per month is going to go towards the actual ads. And then that kind of gets into the like payment processing trouble. And okay, now we're got this money coming in, and then we got the money coming out. I would prefer to stay away from it. But if somebody is wanting us to run ads for them, I'm not going to say no to free money. I will figure out how to run ads for them and build the system about it. But just so if they do ask about it, you give us a budget and we put a certain percentage of that budget towards the actual ad spend. Is basically how you're going to phrase it. And also, like when you're on dials, like if they ask for pricing, don't tell them any pricing at all. Say all of our packages are custom because there's multiple things that we can do to improve your business. We would love to get you onto our strategy and demo call to kind of figure out where we can help you. If we can even help you. So if they ask pricing, do not just push it off. Say it's custom pricing for any of that. But yeah, this is kind of the overview. We've got the improve the website, marketing material, outbound leads, never miss systems. The main goal that you are pitching them on is you are going to make their business more money, right? You're not selling them on a website. You're not selling them on the AI SEO. You're not selling them on the marketing material. You're not selling them on paid ads. You're not selling them on the tracking system. Business owners want to see how you can make them more money. So that's what, at the end of the day, you do need to kind of focus your calls on. And like, you can even frame it like, do you pick up the phone, ring, ring, hey, is this Bob with Bob's Landscaping? Yeah, it is. How can I help you? Bob, do you want to fucking make more money? And then he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I like to make more money. Sweet. Can you handle more ads? Or can you handle more leads a month? Yeah, I could probably take on 10, 15 more clients. Awesome, Bob. We're going to redo your website. We're going to give you some marketing material. We're going to get on some outbound leads to generate you 5, 10 more clients a month. Would that be awesome? Yeah, that'd be sweet. How much revenue would that bring in, Bob? I don't know, maybe like 10,000 a month. Okay, sweet. How much would you pay for an extra 10,000 a month of revenue? Well, my cost on that's 6,000, so I don't know, maybe 5,000 a month. Awesome, Bob. I would love to get you on a call with one of our strategists. He'll go over kind of everything we could offer, see if we can even help you out. What's a good time for you this afternoon? Let's do 8 p.m. Boom. Just sell him on, we can make him more money. We got all these different programs that we can do to increase his lead volume, right? That's what you got to focus on these calls. All right, perfect. Feel free to reach out with me with any questions, right? Peace.